Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka the man, the myth, the Mephisto, and this video we're breaking down episode 4 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. After a thrilling season, we're getting all of the pieces falling into place, and there's a lot of plot theories, Easter eggs, and things you missed that we're going to be talking about. Before that though, I just want to point out an Easter egg that I got sent by Logan Kelly 13 on Instagram, who noticed that in the museum in episode 1, we see a photo of Steve holding a taxi door with a star on it. This is of course from Captain America the First Avenger, and if we jump back to that movie, we can actually see the person that took this photo standing in the crowd, showing that it's all connected. It's all connected. Now last week we saw Sam and Bucky freeing Zemo in order to track down the origins of the brand new and improved Super Soldier Serum, and this led them to Madripoor. After learning it was the power broker all along, they were reunited with Sharon Carter, who seemed more suspicious than Tom Holland when he's trying to keep a secret. We also got a small clip of Zemo busting out dance moves that would make Star-Lord and Justin Hammer evacuate the dance floor. Earlier in the week, the actor behind him, Daniel Bruhl, revealed that he actually did a longer dance, but that Marvel cut it down, and after fans united together and got hashtag release the Zemo cut trending, they dropped an hour-long version of it last night. I sat through the entire thing 75 times. I don't give a fuck. Now there was also a sign on the embassy that a lot of people commented saying was a nod to the X-Men, and I actually drove around throughout the week looking for this on the road. It's actually used quite a lot over here, and I got the wife to take a photo of it, and as you can see, it clearly confirms that the X-Men exist in the Heavy Spoilers universe. It's all connected. Now we ended with a big cliffhanger and saw that AO had been sent from Wakanda to bring Zemo in. Before you could say Wakanda shit is this, we cut to Black Panther's music and then the credits. Now episode 4 starts off with a flashback to Wakanda, where we see Io initiating the brainwashing words on Bucky to see if he can retain control of himself. During this we cut to flashes of both Civil War and Captain America the Winter Soldier to see the times when these words were used on him in order to hurt people. There's flashes of the Stark's death and his many attacks in the Winter Soldier, and we get the feeling that he's haunted by all of it. Over the top of these moments we can also hear the Winter Soldier theme tune, but alongside the clips of him snapping out of it, this music changes to subtly hint to us that he's finally free. You can really see that he has an attachment to AO, who in many ways breaks him out of his enslavement. Now I love how we go from this statement of her saying that he's now free, to her asking how could you free him in regards to Zemo. Shuri is name dropped, as is King T'Chaka, and you really get the feeling of betrayal that the Wakandans feel. After all, they did help Bucky, and he's now sided with the murderer that killed their king. After giving him a deadline of 8 hours, AO leaves Bucky to return to Zemo's place in Latvia. Now I forgot to mention last week that in the Marvel Universe, this is actually a neighbouring country to Latveria, aka the home of Victor Von Doom. Whether he pops up or not remains to be seen, but it is an interesting location to choose. The trio learn of Carly's attack last week, and Zemo goes off on a monologue about how the idea of the super soldier always leads to supremacy. This is actually very similar to something that Flag Smasher said in Sam Wilson Captain America, and during a run-in with the LMD version of him in the comics, he discussed nationalism. Flag Smasher said that believing one's country is supreme means that you believe others who are part of the other within it do not deserve the same rights. He proposed that nationalism always leads to fascism, and this was something that was prominent in Germany during the Second World War. They believed that the Aryan was the supreme race, and even referred to them as being the Superman. Characteristics of the Aryan included blonde hair and blue eyes, which are things that both Steve Rogers and John Walker possess. Juxtaposing this, the Flag Smashers are made up of people who don't possess these characteristics, and thus they're in direct opposition. This too has led to them going off on their own path of radicalization, and with both opposing sides leading to wanting their way, it means that we're destined for war. Whereas John Walker operates with the help of the government, the Flag Smashers do not, and we join them out in the wilderness. Turns out that after the attack, the GRC has put in place something known as the Patch Act, which will create stricter borders. In episode 1 we discover that the Flag Smashers wanted open ones, so this is very much against their goals, and it's all Carly's fault. Stricter borders leads to an empowered police force, and I very much get the feeling of escalation throughout this entry as we watch each side participating in more and more violent acts in order to beat the other. Sam, Bucky and Zemo arrive at the Flag Smasher base, and the former quickly realise realizes that it's their place of operation due to the red handprint. This is actually based on the Hamza, which we see Karli holding in this episode. Now the Hamza is meant to bring its owner luck, happiness, health, and good fortune. However, it also acts as a defense against the evil eye. Eyes have appeared in the season at several points, namely episode 3 when we saw a sign in Madripoor which said the power broker is watching. This is a play on the phrase Big Brother is watching you, and with the Hamza inclusion as part of the Flag Smasher logo, it subtly lets us know that the two sides are in opposition to one another. The episode itself is called The Whole World is Watching, and this very much sets up the ending, which we'll talk about later on. Now the refugees displaced here felt let down by the GRC, and it's clear that after the snap 6 months ago, their priorities changed. As we theorised, the population being downsized due to the snap would have led to more opportunities in work, travel and progression. For example, say all of middle management in a company got snapped, then the people at the bottom would be able to ascend faster and take their jobs, leading to them gaining a better quality of life. But when they returned, they'd likely have to vacate these positions, or at least fight for them, and it's led to people feeling, well, completely let down. Now these people have united behind Karli, and though she may be going about it the wrong way, it's clear she wants to help people other than herself. After learning of Donya's funeral and not telling Sam and Bucky, I also have to ask them, don't you wish you didn't trust Zemo so much, eh? Haven't that? Now this causes Bucky to lose it, but he calms down and Zemo asks if he wants some cherry blossom tea. This could be a reference to Cherry Blossom, who just so happened to work for an organisation known as The Hand. Now speaking of hands, mine is actually hurting right now because that's the biggest reach I've ever done. Now cut to Shady Sharon, and we see that she has several goons on her side. A lot of people have theorised that Sharon is the power broker, but personally I don't believe it, as Zemo said that he did know the villain before he was jailed, which was during the time that she was operating as Agent 13. However, she does seem to have connections to him and is able to lend a satellite to Sam for surveillance, showing how high up she is. Now the antagonist is furious after Nagel was killed because he was the golden goose, and we cut to Karli, who still has the super soldier serum he's after. This gravestone belongs to one of the members' grandfathers, who we learn was a World War II resistance fighter. He clearly instilled in his grandson a positive image of Captain America, and we very much get the idea that Karli could become the next one because of her beliefs and values. He states that Captain America should look like and represent the people that are forgotten, however she says the shield is a relic of a bygone era and wants to destroy it. Now this is something that Sam reiterated last time, subtly hinting to us that he too possesses the values that are needed right now and letting us know that he is worthy. In Latvia, Walker and Battlestar track down the trio, and before he loses his temper, Wilson tells him to stop being so weird. Just stop being weird, mate. Now I love Wyatt's portrayal in this show, and you really feel the guy could lose it at any second. He's very Homelander in my opinion, and I'm on the edge almost every time he's on screen. Sadly, Wyatt Russell has been receiving death threats over the last week, and I just have to say to everyone now, yeah, hate the character, don't hate the actor. Anyway, Walker gives them 10 minutes to apprehend Karli at the funeral, and this adds another time limit to a show that's already full of time limits. Karli gives a speech which distills her beliefs, and this echoes Sharon's at Peggy's funeral. Clearly Donya was another maternal figure that everyone has respect for, and this makes Karli a really complex anti-hero, which allows us to see why she's viewed as a Robin Hood figure. Now outside, Walker starts to get impatient, and though we believe that he already had the super soldier serum within it, it is revealed that he didn't. This is in opposition to the comics and the entire Power Broker plotline from the source material. Now I think it's safe to say that the Power Broker is slowly becoming the big bad of the series, and though US Agent is going to be somewhat of an antagonist too, the former is the Palpatine of this show. The mantle has been taken up by several characters, and originally the villain was a businessman known as Curtis Jackson. Not him. Now his goal was to run a criminal organisation as if it was a respectable business, and after meeting with Dr. Cole Maylis, the pair formed a company called Power Broker Incorporated. Maylis appeared in Sam Wilson Captain America, which this show also heavily pulls from, and it looks like they're bringing together multiple arcs and runs in order to tell this adaptation. Power Broker Inc. ended up selling superhuman abilities to clients, and they were behind empowering US Agent, Demolition Man, no not that one, and several members of the UCWF. In the comics, Jackson used the procedures on himself, and in doing so, he grew muscles to the point that he was actually unable to move. Jackson later became confined to a mechanical suit, but was still heavily hampered by his newfound augmentations. More recently, another character has taken up the mantle, and this power broker wears a battle suit that allows him to fire energy blasts from his hands. But can he fire up the dance floor with his hands? Absolutely not. So they are going against that by the looks of it, and having Walker completely disconnected from him. We discover that Carly and co were actually ousted from their positions as soon as people returned, and it speaks to how the GRC only wanted them when they provided use. I actually loved seeing Sam and Carly talking it out, and though this episode up until this point had been slower paced in terms of action, it did paint out people's political beliefs and ideologies. Though Carly doesn't believe she's a supremacist, she does state later on that she believed she'd been chosen, which is something throughout history that many supremacists have said. No one believes they are the bad guys, and Sam actually agrees with Carly on several levels, he just can't co-sign how she's acting. Walker arrives and messes things up, and Zemo escapes after undoing his handcuffs. He of course wants to wipe out super soldiers across the world because he believes it leads to supremacy, and he gets the jump on Carly. Zemo destroys the super soldier serum remnants, and Walker takes the last vial, leading to him using it on himself. Clearly the pressure got too much for him, and this led to him believing that he needed to take it in order to keep up with things. That very much ties back to the theme of escalation, which we've seen throughout this episode at several points. Now there is a parallel conversation in the entry in which both Sam and Walker discuss whether they would take the super soldier serum or not. Sam states he wouldn't, and he does so definitively. However, Walker convinces himself that it's the right thing to do, even though we know so far it's created nothing but misery. This is true to the comics, as he of course ended up with it, whereas Sam never took it, even when he was Captain America. Walker feels completely inadequate, and due to his past, namely the hypocrisy that comes with war, he decides that it's right to take it. As Erskine said, the serum enhances what's already there, and thus, taking it if you're bad will make you super bad. Walker shows up and wants to go toe-to-toe with Sam, showing how oppressive he is, and that, unlike the latter, he will never talk it out with anyone. They're saved from going at it by the Dora Milaje, who kicked the crap out of John and Battlestar, further driving home why he feels the need to take the serum. They leave Bucky looking pretty armless, and Zemo makes off by pulling an El Chapo. This is a reference to the real-life drug lord who had tunnels built under his home that he used to escape from the authorities with. Now where he's gone exactly, we don't know, but in the trailers we do see him at the Sokovian Memorial, so I'm guessing that he's now at this location. He did mention it in episode 3 to Sam and Bucky, so that would give him a clue that he was there. Carly reaches out to Sarah and gets her to send a message to Sam, which includes threatening her that we do see her struggling with. Sam and Bucky then meet up with her, and she asks them to join forces, but they turn it down, and thus this sets them on a collision course. She states she doesn't want to kill Sam, and we watch across town as Walker and Battlestar enter the Flag Smasher hideout. This moment heavily echoes the scene from the first Avenger, in which Steve busts into a hideout with guns drawn. Now one thing I also noticed here is that the American flag appears in black and white on Walker's uniform. According to Google, the flag being portrayed in this fashion is to show solidarity with the police, and it cements that Walker is very much a metaphor for them. It could also showcase the black and white way that he views the world, and that he's missing the shades of grey that are required to take into account all perspectives. Now at the location, we have it confirmed that Walker did take the serum, and there's somewhat of a staircase fight which echoes the iconography of Civil War. With the serum in his veins, Walker is finally able to go toe-to-toe with the Flag Smashers, and we also see Bucky busting out some of the knife skills that he had in the Winter Soldier. What's funny about this is that in the first Avenger, Howard Stark told Steve that he needed a shield because Hydra wouldn't be coming at them with pocket knives. Bucky of course ended up working for Hydra and coming at Steve with a pocket knife, which marries these moments across the MCU. Carly goes to kill Walker, but this leads to more deaths when Lamar jumps in the way and gets killed with a super soldier punch. Having his best friend die like this sends Walker off the deep end, and this further leads to escalation. This eye for an eye mentality always leads to both people losing their sight, and though I don't mean they lose their sight, Walker does kill one of the Flag Smasher forces in order to avenge Battlestar. Walker jumps out a window in a moment that's similar to Steve jumping through one in Civil War, and outside he murders a downed man for all to see. Now clearly this is a metaphor for police brutality and how innocent and unarmed people are often killed, which is then captured on camera. This leads to social media outcry, and acts like this often split the discord into left and right politically, with both sides arguing over the rights and wrongs of doing it. Though a lot of people think that this is the end for Walker, I actually don't think it will be. Don't know why I went there, but we'll keep that in the edit. Now, because he's working within the law, I think that things will be brushed under the rug, and there will be constant PR to spin it that he acted in the right way. We see this a lot in real life, and Walker could end up metaphorically showcasing that even if you're caught in 4K, if you're working for a certain side, you have far more power. The danger he poses is that he's now no longer working within the law, and he believes he is the law, which speaks to why the character is beyond repair at this point. The shield has a long legacy, and to end with it covered in blood symbolises how far this symbol has come, from being something that stood for defence to now something that stands for oppression. It's a chilling way to end the entry, and it's probably the best ending to any of the episodes in the series so far. Okay, and before we get into the review part of the video, I just want to thank you for all supporting the channel throughout the last 4 weeks. If you've enjoyed the video, then I'd appreciate the thumbs up, and click the subscribe button if you want to keep up to date with our other crap breakdowns. Don't click it if you've already subscribed, yeah, that's not how it works, you bloody dingus. Now as for the show itself, though I'm still really enjoying it, I don't know if it's quite capturing my interest in the same way that WandaVision did. Though I'm hyped as hell whenever I finish an episode and can't wait to watch the next one, by the time Monday rolls around, I notice that me and the boys have stopped talking about it. The whole crew used to love pinging theories back and forth with me about WandaVision each and every day, whereas here it's a bit straightforward, even with some of the big twists and cliffhangers. Now that's not to say it's bad at all, and I think even if you compare the first 4 episodes of this to the first 4 of WandaVision, then Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a lot better, in my opinion anyway. And that might be unfair as they have a longer runtime, but even if compared to say the first 6, I would still say these are an improvement. However, they are slightly by the numbers, whereas with WandaVision you didn't really know what you were going to get, so as far as keeping people's interests, I think that show was a lot more successful than this. It may be an unfair comparison, but with them both being Marvel Disney Plus shows, I feel that it's fair. However, as much as I sound like I'm slagging it off, I'm not. I really enjoyed the show, and I just wanted to talk about more of my general feelings as the series has gone on. I think you would really struggle to ding this, and though I know there's people out there that don't always like the political and social commentary, I do feel like it's important for Marvel to tackle these issues. Captain America first hit the mainstream hitting Hitler, and since then the comics have tackled themes like race, civil rights, steroid abuse, the Patriot Act, and a lot more. Therefore, it feels fitting to me, especially in today's climate, that a show based around what it means to be Captain America would be tackling things like this. As for the episode itself, again, I really enjoyed it, and this is such a solid show that it's difficult to ding any of its acting, action, or the production quality that it delivers. It's a worldwide, globe-trotting adventure that I feel is a satisfying sidestep into the more grounded aspects of the MCU, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Now, the rumours that there will be a big cameo coming in episode 5 have long persisted, and over the last week these have picked up even more steam. If you missed our last video, then in that we discussed how there was a big character on set during the filming of this show, and the appearance is at the old DeKalb courthouse. Apparently they filmed for 2 days, and it is a moment that will make your jaw hit the floor. The character is apparently female, and when discussing what's coming down the line, Malcolm Spellman, the show's creator, said the following: "There are characters in our series who I would love to see partnered with, like, it's a very grounded character, partnered with one of the big world shakers like Thor or someone like that. The personality is so strong, it's the episode 5 character, I'd love to see that character with Thor." Now there's not really a lot to take from this, and my guess based off the Thor comments would be that it's someone like She-Hulk or maybe even Rogue. I mean, we all saw that road sign, didn't we? That road sign confirming that yes, the X-Men are part of the Heavy Spoilers universe. It could also be Florence Pugh's character, aka Yelena Belova, who, had the pandemic not hit, would be an established character in the MCU by now. She's going to be a big part of Black Widow, and being more grounded, I do think that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, I really hope this isn't a letdown and that it is the big moment that we've been promised. I have been let down in the past, I'm looking at you, Paul Bettany. But yeah, hype still remains, and I still hold out hope. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories as we head into the penultimate entry, so make sure you comment below and let me know. As a thank you for interacting with the video, you'll be entered into a prize drawn the 30th of April, in which we're giving away 3 copies of Zack Snyder's Justice League in 4K. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the episode. The winners of last month's competition are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of the best Easter eggs in Godzilla vs Kong, which will be linked on screen right now. We've gone over top to bottom on all the cool callbacks to the Monsterverse, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. With that out of the way, thank you for sitting through the video. I've been Paul, I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.